Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about someone I truly dislike. So disclaimer for my bias, I do not like this person because of their past behavior, because of their current behavior as well. Just there's a lot and we'll get into it, but I'm just going to disclaim that now. We're going to be talking about the one and only Piers Morgan. Just saying that name makes me pissed. But anyway, before we get into that, I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Raycon. Raycon makes high-quality earbuds that offer 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. Their everyday earbuds have optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit. The best part is that they stay put even as you work out or are moving around, which just adds to the comfort. I can easily run up and down the stairs as I clean the house, and I never have to worry about them falling out or having to hold them in. On top of all of this, Raycons are priced just right. You get the high quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no coincidence that Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 48,000 five-star reviews. I personally bring my earbuds everywhere with me, especially when I'm out and about. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/readytoglare to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. So let's get into the rage. If you don't know who Piers Morgan is, it's very difficult for me to summarize in a way that doesn't involve a bunch of bad words. Let's just say he was a host on a show called Good Morning Britain. That's like his most recent gig. He got fired off of that show because of what we're going to talk about in a second. And he is basically known for being very controversial, but not in a positive way, because there are some people who are controversial because they say what everyone's thinking. And I think there can be some type of positive controversialness, if that's not a word, but whatever, you get it. But he's the type of controversial where he's just being an asshole and saying things that shouldn't be thought or said, in my opinion. He's also extremely against woke culture. We're gonna get into that in a second because I think his definition and my definition of that do not align, which is not surprising because most of our views do not align. Piers Morgan vows his media return will be very unpleasant surprise for Meghan Markle. If you have been on the internet at all for the past 2 years, even longer than that, Piers Morgan has been obsessed with Meghan Markle to the point that it makes me very deeply uncomfortable. Former British TV host Piers Morgan said Meghan Markle has a very unpleasant surprise coming as he begins a regular newspaper column after losing his TV gig last year for making vicious comments about Meghan Markle. Pushy little Princess Pinocchio tried her utmost to cancel me, and she will be in for a very unpleasant surprise when I emerge like Lazarus from my den, Morgan vowed in comments Friday in Rupert Murdoch's right-wing tabloid The Sun, where he's starting a regular column next week called Uncensored. Very creative name. Morgan left as co-host of the popular Good Morning Britain program 9 months ago after he stormed off the set when he was confronted about his numerous attacks on Markle. Him storming off the set was genuinely hilarious. I would put in a clip, but I'm sure it would be copyrighted, but it definitely is worth watching because I found it hilarious. I think when I first saw it, I rewatched it a couple of times because it was so just like a baby throwing a tantrum. And it was also ironic because he's gonna have his tabloid uncensored, right? He complains about woke culture, but as soon as someone confronts him about shit he says, then he just storms off and is all offended, which is kind of what he calls other people out for being, and that's kind of his definition of woke culture, which we'll get into because that also is an experience. Morgan blasted the interview on Good Morning Britain as a trash-a-thon of the monarchy and called Markle a liar. I don't believe a word she says, he sputtered on air. I wouldn't believe her if she read me a weather report, and the fact she's fired up in this onslaught against our royal family I think is contemptible. One thing I noted that I also thought was quite interesting is that a lot of the vitriol that he had against and has still months and months later, that's normal, against Meghan Markle was the interview with Oprah Winfrey, which, I mean, like, everyone was talking about it. It was like this massive, massive thing, right? So obviously he would be very pissed about the monarchy, the royal family getting blasted on TV with God knows how many people watching. I watched it, I think, twice. Whether you believe Meghan Markle or not, up to you. However, I think it's interesting that this interview was not just Meghan Markle. Harry was there. Harry agreed with her. They were on the same page about what was happening in the royal household. So why is it that just Meghan Markle is getting blasted? Why isn't Meghan and Harry? That's a question I'll leave for you to answer, but I have my own theories about it. I usually don't like coming to the conclusion that someone is being an ass just because someone's ethnicity or someone's gender or any other thing. But here, it's just kind of like, how are you going to blast one person when there are two people on the interview who are on the exact same page? Come to your conclusions. Like I said, I'm not trying to get sued here. He walked off the set the following day when he was confronted by colleague Alex Beresford, I hope I didn't butcher that, who slammed him as diabolical. Beresford also called out Morgan's odd fixation with repeatedly attacking Markle, even though the two were once friendly. They even went out for drinks before Markle met Prince Harry, Morgan has written. So this is the part where I kind of want to laugh, which sounds mean because I don't like people being rejected. It's hurtful. You don't want that for anyone, right? But the fact that they went out for drinks, and to be fair, we don't know what the context was in the sense of you can go out for drinks with a friend or you can go out for drinks in a romantic way. You know, like there's a whole spectrum of reasons why you might do that. But the fact that they went out for drinks and then she met Harry and then that's kind of when Piers Morgan started losing his shit. Is it a coincidence? Is it? Is it though? My answer's no, but anyway, allegedly, don't sue me. I've always thought that was low-key kind of funny because it just speaks to, I think, part of the reason that Morgan is so obsessed with Meghan Markle. And the other thing I wanted to say about all of this that really pisses me off is that he's been consistently talking about her, but it's always the same thing. And putting aside morality, because I think what he does and how he talks about Meghan Markle, I think that's harassment. Putting even just that aside, pretending that doesn't exist, it's like you're not making any new points. You are like the old man in The Simpsons screaming at a cloud. You are just saying the same shit over and over again, making no real valid critique, in my opinion, apart from saying that you don't like her and you think she's a liar. Morgan has claimed Markle exerted influence to get him fired from Good Morning Britain, but his comments were widely disparaged, especially by mental health organizations and experts who condemned Morgan's cavalier dismissal of Markle's revelation about mental health struggles amid the pressure cooker of her life in Britain. Morgan has since slammed gymnast Simone Biles after her mental health struggles at the last Olympics. Are mental health issues now the go-to excuse for any poor performance in elite sport? What a joke, he tweeted. Morgan noted that he aims to continue attacking Markle as well as the woke culture in which people strive to be sensitive about things like racial, gender, and national origin differences, which he called a form of fascism. I don't really know where to start with this one. For one, you guys know how I am about mental health. I don't support undermining people's experiences, especially when you weren't fucking there. So you don't know what it was like being within the royal sphere. You don't know what it was like being Meghan Markle. You don't know the pressures she was under. There were people like you that were shitting on her all the time for no reason. So the disparaging comments about mental health are one really big thing that pissed me off because her experience is her experience and she's allowed to talk about that without you saying, oh, she's trying to speak badly of the royal family. The same thing goes with the racism she said she experienced, which again, you weren't there and that was her experience. End of. You cannot say someone's experience was fake unless you were there, and even then you don't know what's going on in people's heads and they won't necessarily vocalize it, so they might be experiencing something you don't know right in front of you and you don't know it's happening. So again, not a fan of that. I have to laugh that he's gonna have a column called Uncensored, but he's saying that woke culture is basically fascist, and it's like, you are going to have a column where you're going to say whatever you want. Like, no one's stopping you from saying whatever you want. The thing is, people will critique you for what you say, but that's not fascism. You're still saying everything you want. You're still being detestable. No one is coming in the middle of the night, kidnapping you, putting you in a jail cell, and not letting you speak. In fact, everyone's probably tired of hearing you speak. I know I fucking am. So to call it fascism is almost funny because it's so just untrue. It's like you were on Good Morning Britain for a long time just really spewing hateful things about Meghan Markle. Another thing that hit me about this was that his definition of woke culture seems to be not being a dick kind of thing, because I have my own qualms with woke culture, my definition of woke culture, which I'm not going to get into. If you want me to, I will at a certain point, but I'm not going to do it now. If the masses agreed that you were being hateful, that what you were saying was unnecessarily hateful, it wasn't constructive criticism, it wasn't anything of value, maybe you should think about that. And that's not to say that the masses are always right, but in this case, if multiple people are saying, hey, what you're saying about mental health is detrimental, what you're saying about Meghan Markle is basically just your opinion, which, yeah, you hate her and you say it like all the time. What are we doing here? What is the end point? What are we hoping to accomplish? He walked off offended from a show, but he'll talk about how woke culture is always offended. And it's like, do you not see that you are kind of part of the group of people you're making fun of? Because his definition of woke culture seems to be that people are too sensitive and, get offended for too much, but that's exactly what happened to him. And he even is going so far as to announce his return to harassing Meghan Markle. I just don't understand what the point is. And the other thing is, it's okay to not like people. I entirely support everyone's right to not like a person. Now, I'm not talking about discrimination, racism, whatever. But if you don't like someone's personality, if you don't vibe, whatever it is, you are allowed to do that. But I think there's also the line where it becomes you're obsessive, and it's also like you're making your own self miserable thinking about this person that you dislike all the time and broadcasting it to millions of people on the internet. And I was saying even earlier to my husband, I think you lose a lot of credibility because, listen, I don't like Piers Morgan. I think Meghan Markle is pretty likable. I'm not really, gung-ho on being on anyone's side here, but I like her. She seems like a nice person. If Piers Morgan had written one op-ed about why he doesn't like Meghan Markle, it probably would have been vicious and horrible, granted. But if it was just one, I feel like it would be at least more respectable because you put your opinion out there. You said what you had to say, even though, it's vicious and disgusting, but you close there. But the continuation of just straight up harassment is what makes you look more and more unhinged and more like you're losing your marbles, because how many times can you say, I hate this person, before it's enough? Like, where do you draw the line at that point? And I think people, even people who like Piers Morgan, are probably tired of it too, because how many times can you have the same fucking conversation? Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.